Alrighty, lunatics, welcome back to My Pocket Lucky. Today, we're going to take a look at the Kimera loop that we, on the original channel, did a little bit of playtesting with this, and I was like, yeah, I'm going to make a deck list video, and then I wound up making a second channel, and completely changed my editing process and all that fun stuff. So now that some things have settled down, let's actually make this deck list video with some of the tweaks that I've put in, and some of the realizations I've had during playtesting. We'll just first go through what's included, how you're going to use the cards, and then, you know, some possible tech changes and options to kind of build this around how you'd want to play it. As always, these decks are purely here for you to have fun with and to be educational. The only thing that I can tell you is that with proper planning and playing around your opponent, you can win with these decks. We'll just leave it at that. So first things first, for our eggs, our level 2s, we're running the BT3 Kimeramon. It continues to be a good card. Just being able to let your Digimon die and draw one and trash one is always a good thing, especially in trash-based decks. So it's here. This is kind of like our bread and butter egg. We want this on the field as much as possible, hence why we're running some other cards in the future. This Mervamon from BT15 on deletion allows us to trash a level 5 or higher and then draw 2. The draw 2 is extremely powerful, but pitching a level 5 into our trash has immense value, and you'll see why. We're also running 3 of Ignitemon. I'll hear the argument for 2, I'd hear the argument for 1, but I like 3 for consistency, and also its one attacking ability does actually have value in this deck. But ultimately, you're trying to use it for Mervamon, and you're trying to get value off of its inheritable, which says all turns once per turn. When you play a Digimon by an effect, gain a memory. One attacking, delete one of your other Digimon, and then delete one of your opponent's unsuspended Digimon with a level less than or equal to your deleted Digimon's level is, like I said, it has its uses. I'm running a singular EX5 Labramon. Now, the big thing with this is, again, it's inheritable. When an effect plays one of your Digimon, gain a memory. It's just nice to have that extra memory gain to really go crazy on your turns. But being able to return a dark animal or a shaman card from trash to hand on it with its on play effect is useful, because if you look, we have some dark animals. My bad, we have some dark animals. We have some shamans. We got our boss monster shamans, and we do have some dark animals we can use. So keep that in mind. So next on our level 3s, we've got Syakomon EX8. This has on deletion, draw 1, trash 1. Again, just another draw engine card, but it allows us to also hit some of those pesky level 3s that might block us from gaining memory or reducing play costs, any of that fun thing with its inheritable. After that, we're running 4 of the BT16 Ukomons. This is the one when one of your Digimon moves from breeding area to battle area. You can look at the top 3 cards of your deck, add a Digimon or Tamer to your hand, and then, you know, return the rest to bottom however you'd like, and then hatch an egg. This has extreme value for 2 reasons. 1, it allows us to choke on the first turn if for some reason we don't want to Digivolve our egg into like an Ignitemon or something. If we're doing a matchup where we know we want to kind of hit them where it hurts in the memory, there's this. The other reason for it is this also pushes our eggs into the breeding area faster and faster and faster, keeping up that tempo so that we can get these on deletion effects as quick as possible, so we can see the cards that we want to see and get the cards in the trash that we want in the trash. Really that simple. Starting at our level 4s, we have Eltamon, which we're going to be running a 4 of. This is one of our combo pieces, so it is extremely important to see. You will always see it because you're running 4 of. This is a B18-18 card, has retaliation for its inheritable. It's also got raid as one of its keywords. On play, when Digivolving, you can trash a card in your hand, return a card with Compositor, Wicked God from trash to hand. This is how we continue to get our Kimeramons back to our hand to continue the loop, which we'll see later. Next up, we've got Madleomon from BT16. Its inheritable says end of attack, so it has to survive. By deleting this Digimon, you may play a level 4 or lower Digimon card from your trash without paying the cost. Great. This is part of our combo piece as well. It does have a one attacking effect that we're never going to use, but just know that it's there. Another thing you're going to notice is that 2 of our combo pieces for the champions have an expensive Digivolution cost. They both Digivolve for 3 instead of 2. So you're going to want to keep that in mind when doing your stacks and going into your route. But generally speaking, when you start building your stack to go into your combo, you're going to be keeping your pieces in your breeding until you're ready to go, until you're online. Generally speaking, not always. And we're running 2 of Black Automon. This has the when Digivolving on deletion. By trashing 1 card in your hand, one of your Digimon gains blocker and retaliation to the end of your opponent's turn. I have found that this slot here for the champions is more of a tech slot, but I love the annoyance and longevity of this card. It is a 4 cost play cost and a 2 cost Digivolution. It allows us to make sure that we can block something big and scary and kill it, generally speaking, unless it has like crazy protections. And not only that, but once you've Digivolved over it, if you do wind up having to Digivolve over it, you can actually stall them by just, you know, saying, nope, you can't attack with that Digimon this turn. Starting our level 5 line, we're running 4 of Chromons. This is our final combo piece outside of Kimeramon. It has a 1 attacking. If you have a Tamer, this Digimon can Digivolve into Ravemon in your trash for the Digivolution cost, but you're never going to use that. Notice how there's no Ravemons, there's no Chromons. It's not something that we're playing. We are specifically here for its inheritable, which says on deletion. If deleted outside of battle, you may play 1 level 4 or lower purple from your trash without paying the cost. Then we're also running Kimeramon, which allows us to DNA Digivolve over level 4s of any color. It takes on their color identities. You can also place a level 5 or lower Digimon card from your trash under this Digimon as its bottom Digivolution card. Then you can give negative DP to your opponents and yeah, all that fun stuff. But realistically, what you're going to be doing here is you're going to be DNA Digivolving Deltamon and Madleomon into Kimeramon, and you're going to be stuffing Chromon underneath the stack. So the way this combo works is once you DNA Digivolve Kimeramon over Madleomon and Deltamon, is you can then stuff Chromon underneath Kimeramon. Once Chromon's underneath Kimeramon and Madleomon and Deltamon are underneath Kimeramon, you attack, you survive the attack so you can proc Madleomon's end of attack ability. You then delete your Kimeramon. On deletion, you use the Madleomon effect to play Deltamon. Deltamon comes back, and then use the Chromon's effect to play Madleomon. Then I have Madleomon and you have Deltamon both back on the field. Deltamon's ability also has proc to give you Kimeramon back to your hand. So now you can DNA Digivolve again. So even though they have their summoning sickness, we'll call it, Kimeramon can just DNA Digivolve over them. It gets its rush feed from DNA Digivolving and it can swing again. Ignore that crazy cut because for some reason my recording died and then started up again and the whole section of the video disappeared. Let me fix that. So basically the idea of Kimeramon is you just keep doing it over and over again, right? That was the whole point. With Medieval Gallantmon, this is your first level 6. It just acts as a big fuck you card. I think we all know what this terrible, torturous fucking thing does at this point, but for those of you that don't, has Alliance and Vortex, has a when Digivolving suspended Digimon, then you may delete one of your opponent's Digimon with 8k DP or lower. And then for each other suspended Digimon, not your suspended, not their suspended, for each other suspended Digimon, you add 3k to the DP deletion effects maximum. By the time you have the opponent's Digimon suspended and one of your Digimon suspended and you're hitting damn near everything on the board, it's and all turns once per turn when Digimon are played, you may activate one of this Digimon's when Digivolving effects. Spoiler alert, you can get that effect off of just playing Medieval Gallantmon. Also, did you know when you play this card by suspending 2 Digimon, you can reduce the play cost by 4? Ain't that something? Anyways, enough of that. Then with EX5 Anubismon, it is a limited to 1 card. That's why we're only running 1. It has when Digivolving main. Once per turn, you may trash up to 3 cards in your hand, then play a purple Digimon card from your trash with a play cost reduced by 3. For each card that you trashed by this effect, reduce the cost further by 1. So essentially what you're doing is you're pitching 3 cards, you're playing a Mervamon from your trash for -6 because it has the reduced by 3, then reduced by 3 more for each card that you pitch. Mervamon now costs 5, and then when Mervamon's Digicross effect, it now costs a nice sum of 2. Congratulations. You get to play Mervamon from your trash for a 2 whole play cost. We'll get to that in a second though. Anubismon also has your turn when an effect plays one of your Digimon, delete one of your opponent's level 5 or lower Digimon. That's really good on its own, but if the effect didn't delete, draw 1. Congrats! Easier to see your combo pieces. So yeah, you're mostly looking to use this on Mervamon and then get more of your combo pieces on the field, but if for some reason you don't have a Mervamon in the trash, you could target whatever the hell you want and go crazy. For real, for real. Mervamon, my beloved. One of my favorite Digimon cards of all time. BT11, it says, when you play this card, you can also place cards from your trash in the Digivolution cards for Digicrossing. You're looking to place Ignitemon underneath Mervamon every single chance you get so you can proc its ability. To Digicross this card, you need a card with Cross Heart trait. That's Ignitemon. It has an on-play when Digivolving, play a purple level 4 or lower Digimon card from your trash, and then you don't have to pay the cost. If it's Digicrossing, however, which is what you're always going to be doing, you add 1 to the number of cards you can play with this effect. So instead of playing 1 Digimon, you get to play 2 because you put an Ignitemon under it. Okay, so what does this look like? Well, this looks like this. Anubismon trashes 3 cards. You play Mervamon for 2. You get to tuck Ignitemon underneath Mervamon. So Mervamon comes out for 2. Ignitemon's under it. You play like your Madleo and your Deltamon. Well, Ignitemon says when you play a Digimon by an effect, gain a memory for its inheritable. So now Mervamon effectively costs 1 memory. Oh, but what's this? We have a Maishta on the field. Maishta says when one of your effects trashes a card in your hand, suspend this, gain a memory. Well, you trashed a card with Anubismon. Congratulations, you paid in net 0 for Mervamon to come onto the field, give you your combo pieces onto the field, and now you have big body Digimon plus combo pieces to go into Kimeramon. You've cheated and now you can win. Yay! It also says all turns, all of your Digimon with Crossheart in their traits or with Retaliation gain Russian Blocker. If you haven't figured it out yet, it's great because if for some reason you don't want to touch your combo pieces because you've already got that online or something else is happening, Black Automon, guess what? On play, gets Blocker and Retaliation. And now it has Rush. Swing into that ace card that's suspended or a blocker. Swing into security that is now open for the win. Whatever you got to do. Whatever makes you happy, but the option's there. And then we're looking at Deathxmon. It's a 20 play cost Digimon, 6 to Digivolve into from BT9. Everybody knows the terrors of this behemoth. But essentially, when you play this card, reduce its memory cost by 3 for each Digimon and Tamer your opponent has in play. I don't know if you guys have looked at the meta, but people are generally going to have like 3, 4 plus Tamers on the field. Looking at you, Adventure, right? So right there, you've already got 12 play costs down off the top of this thing, not including any Digimon on your opponent's side of the field. So if they're really getting ahead of you and you just need to check them, hit them with a little break check, Deathxmon is your answer, because when you play it or Digivolve into it, you Digivolve 1 of all your opponent's Digimon and then delete all of their level 4 or lower Digimon, which is great on its own, but wait, there's more. At the end of your opponent's turn, once per turn, obviously, delete all of your opponent's Digimon with the lowest play cost. So if they don't want their Bossmon or an important mon to get gone at the end of the turn, they need to play something else that they want to use as a sacrificial lamb. And they have to keep that in the back of their mind or deal with Deathxmon ASAP. For the start of our Tamers, we got Memory Setter Matt Ishta from ST16. Just says start of your turn. You have 2 or few memory, set it to 3. We already kind of touched on the other ability, but all turns when an effect trashes a card in your hand, suspend this Tamer, gain a memory. Really straightforward stuff, just synergizes with the deck well. Analog Youth is kind of where we got cut off, but I'm just going to reiterate what it does. It's a 2 play cost white Tamer from EX1. It says on play, reveal the top 3 cards of your deck. Add a Digimon card from there among them to your hand and then trash the remaining cards. This is insane because not only does it allow us to search for our combo pieces and get the cards we want in our hand as quick as possible, but it allows us to pitch Kromon from our hand to the trash. It allows us to pitch Mervamon from our hand to the trash if we have Anubismon online, just like stuff like that, right? So it allows us to get in the trash what we want in the trash and get in our hand what we want in the hand as soon as possible. Not only that, but remember before how I mentioned we want to keep tempo with our eggs? We want to be hatching as much as possible into our breeding. Analog Youth also says all turns when one of your level 5 or higher Digimon with Digivolution cards is deleted, you may suspend this Tamer. If you do, gain a memory, then hatch a Digi-Egg into the empty space in your breeding area. So boom, your Kimeramon died because you popped the Mad Leomon effect. Congratulations, you can now hatch into your empty breeding space. That's great. Now you can Digivolve over it for more draws and next turn it can come out. It just makes sure you have no downtime there. And then yeah, I mean gaining the memory is great because you can wind up being in a situation where you've got 2, 3 of these Analog Youths out easy, your Kimeramon dies and now you're plus 2 or 3 memory. Super helpful stuff. We're running 2 of Underworld's Call. Originally, I wasn't running this at all. I tried playtesting it with 4, tried playtesting it with 3. I'll hear the argument for running none to 4 of them. I don't care. This is entirely a tech choice, something that is up to you. It's really what you want to do. I would argue that pretty much everything in this last set of cards is up to you outside of the missed memory boost, but we'll get there. So Underworld's Call just says if you trash this card from your hand using one of your effects, draw 1. You're going to be trashing cards from your hand via like Kimeramon, Labramon, and other cards, so you almost always get extra draw power off of this. But if for some reason you need to get back one of your level 4s or lower from your trash, Underworld's Call's main ability allows you just to play it, boom, get a purple level 4 or lower Digimon card from your trash, and then play it without paying its memory cost. Missed Memory Boost, everybody knows this card. It's a 3-drop purple option card from BT8. It just says, hey, trash the top 2 cards of your deck, draw 1, and then has delay, gain 2 memory in the next turn. So it's like Analog Youth in the sense that you get to go through 3 cards. You just don't get to pick a card, you just draw one of them. It's the last one, right? Wisdom Training is a 2-cost promo card that says reveal the top 2 cards of your deck, add a purple card from among them to your hand, put the rest on the bottom of your deck. You're just hitting your, usually you're just hitting your combo pieces with this, but sometimes you'll be like, ooh, Anubismon, ooh, Mervamon, or right, like something like that. Or if you haven't seen a mat yet and you don't really have another good option there, you know, take the mat. And then its delay allows you to reduce the Digivolution cost of a purple Digivolution by 2. So if for some reason reason you got the pieces on the field, but you still need to Digivolve into Madleomon or Deltamon, boom, now it's only a 1-cost Digivolution instead of 3, and it helps you out there. I would absolutely hear the argument and be okay with you saying, I don't know about these Underworld calls, or let's go down 1 mat or 1 analog youth to max out these wisdom trainings. Fucking go for it. It works just fine if you choose to do that. Let's talk some possible problems, and let's talk some possible changes really quick. First possible problem, you're probably all shouting into the comments, but my Kimeramon's gonna die and then I can't finish the loop and it's not a 1. Yeah, I understand. Here's the thing. By the time you get into Kimeramon, you've either chipped at least 1 or 2 shields, almost every time. Outside of a few decks right now, where a lot of them are running very specific ace cards that reduce your DP, or very specific security type threats because they're like a Mega Zoo deck, you really don't have too much to worry about. However, there's going to be the occasional blocker that'll be the problem, and if for some reason you can't lower its DP with Kimeramon's ability, you could be in trouble. So what are some solutions to this? You could run We Have to Stop Fighting and a blue Tamer over like your Mat and Underworld's Call. This is the first iteration of this deck that I ran. We Have to Stop Fighting is a blue option that says neither's player Digimon can be deleted in battle for the turn. If you play this and you choose to do the Kimeramon loop, this is an auto win. You just win, because eventually they'll run out of blockers. Eventually they're going to run out of security cards, and the only way you truly get screwed, they have like a de-digivolve ace card, or they bounce you with like security, or you know, de-digivolve you off the security, something like that. That's the only way that happens, but generally speaking, this is an auto win. It's over once you've done this. That being said, putting in a blue Tamer or a blue Digimon like Garuru X Antibody to be part of the evolution cards, or the Mat Ishta, because there's a Garuru build of this deck that uses blue, it is far more inconsistent to just play the game normally. I mean, when it works, shit, it's great, right? But it has less answers and less options to play consistently, especially in the current meta. I would argue that this version of the deck isn't really worth pursuing unless you really like the cards that are part of that build, then go for it, right? Absolutely go for it. But if you're playing paper and you have to go out and buy the cards and you're like, oh, I want to bring it to a local, I can't really recommend that. That just doesn't seem in your best interest, so I'm not going to recommend that. The other thing that I'd like to point out is that there is a Mervamon build where you run a bit more of a top end and you go from Krma, you still have the Kimeramons, but you Digivolve into Kromon, right? And then you Digivolve into Mervamon, and then you use Mervamon's effects to let itself die, off of having Madleomon or like a Calling from the Darkness or whatever, and then Kromon's effect procs, Madleomon's effect procs, and then you get out Deltamon and Madleomon, and then you go into Kimeramon. I love that version of the deck. I play that version. I have that version. Actually, that's the first version of this deck I built after the blue version that was already found by somebody else, and the Mervamon version is so much fun. It's so much fun. However, it requires more setup to get going than this one. This one, you're just raw dogging it. Right, this one, like I said, this is the most consistent version I found as far as I want to do my game plan, and you don't have to worry about some tough matchups nearly as much. So that's why I'm showing this one off. However, there is also another thing that I want to point out. If you run into Shine Greymon Ruin Mode loops, it's Jover. I'm sorry. The only way you're dealing with that is by just scooping. I'm sorry. It's tough out here. It's really hard out here for some of us. It's not great. It's bad enough when you got the permanent negative 5k, but if they can somehow get it to the 10k, you're just like, all right, well, GG's. So those are the only things I really wanted to point out. Some possible tech changes. Running a Calling from the Darkness never really hurts, but in this deck, it's kind of a wasted slot. I would say that it's okay because deleting your own Digimon to like maybe get your Mervamon back to hand, maybe. The new Metal Garurumon Ace card that came out recently that allows you to end of attack play a level 4 or lower Digimon, that has extreme value in this deck. I have done no play testing though, but I can already see that, hey, I can bounce something plus play level 4s. It just has value. It's very valuable. I'm going to be running versions of that in this deck at some point, but I'm waiting for DCGO to get the update with the new cards that came out in English before I really go full testing into the adventure side of things. The only other thing that I can really touch on is Jack Raid does have a place in this deck. I just don't run it because I'm a stubborn sack of shit. But yeah, that's the deck list. I'll be posting some gameplay of the deck on this channel finally here in the very near future. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know if you've even played an iteration of this deck before. I know that for a while there people were like, yo, but then the fervor kind of died down and people kind of stopped experimenting. So I'd like to see some of you keeping this alive if possible. For those of you that came over from my main channel, Much love. I super appreciate you for doing that. For those of you that are new to this channel, hi, I'm Lucky. I do lots of different things. I have many different interests, but here on this channel, this is a monster game focused channel where we do like Pokemon, Digimon, trading card game stuff, and you should hang out. You should stick around. We got lots more to come. Just earlier this week, I put out a really fun, like stupid Kimeramon video where it's like really overly edited and goofy. We're gonna be doing more of those. We got a Pokemon challenge that's going right now that comes out every Friday. So it's just, you know, there's different things, but I wanted to make this channel more focused, more niche on this specific type of thing. Other than that, I appreciate y'all for stopping by. Check out my link tree below, join the Discord, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Okay, bye.